It's just money and family shares. Ashley's voice oozed with condescension through the phone. You can always save more. Emma's only 12. You've got plenty of time. I stood frozen in my kitchen, staring at the glaring red numbers on my banking app. The college fund I'd been building for Emma since the day she was born, nearly $87,000, was gone. Drained entirely. My name is Rachel Parker, and at 38, I never thought I'd be betrayed like this by my own family. I'd spent years as the responsible one, raising my daughter alone after Mark's death 5 years ago, working as a pediatric nurse to make sure Emma's future stayed bright. Mark's sister, Ashley, had always been around, though rarely in a way that helped. Ashley, I said, keeping my voice level, a skill honed from handling pediatric emergencies. That money was for Emma's education. How did you even access it? She laughed, the sound grating in my ears. Oh please. Mark made me a co-signer when Emma was born. You never bothered to change it after he died. Her words hit like a sucker punch. In the chaos of grief after Mark's accident, I'd been too focused on holding myself and Emma together to think about legal details. Now that oversight had cost my daughter her future. The pool was falling apart, Ashley continued, as if we were discussing something as trivial as borrowed sugar. It was a safety hazard, Rachel. What was I supposed to do? Let my kids swim in that mess? Family helps family. You should understand that. My jaw tightened. Emma was upstairs, working on her science project, her dreams of becoming a doctor burning brighter every day. And here was Ashley, justifying stealing from her niece to fix a pool. How much did the repairs cost? I asked calmly, though my hands were trembling. About $30,000, she said breezily. I took a little extra for landscaping too. The yard was looking shabby, and property values matter in this neighborhood. Really, I did you a favor. Emma can enjoy it when she visits. The rest of the money, $57,000, gone to landscaping. My stomach churned, but I kept my voice even. And when were you planning to tell me about this? Oh, you know how busy life gets, Ashley said dismissively. I figured you'd understand. You're always talking about how families should support each other. Like when you asked me to babysit Emma last month. I clenched the phone tighter, her flippant comparison igniting my anger. Babysitting for one night wasn't stealing a college fund. You're right, Ashley, I said, forcing calm into my tone. Families should support each other. Thanks for letting me know. The silence on her end told me she wasn't expecting that response. Well, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. After hanging up, I sat at the kitchen table, pulling up my banking records. Years of dealing with hospital bureaucracy had taught me the importance of documentation. I downloaded every statement showing my careful deposits into Emma's fund and began composing an email to James Turner, Mark's college friend and a top financial lawyer in the city. Mom? Emma's voice startled me. She stood in the doorway, her ponytail swinging like Mark's had when he was her age. Is everything okay? I heard you on the phone. I forced a smile. It's fine, sweetheart. Just grown-up stuff. How's the science project? Almost done, she said brightly. I'm writing about genetic markers in cancer cells. Dad's oncology journals really helped. Pride swelled in my chest. I wouldn't let Ashley's greed derail Emma's dreams. Later that night, after Emma was asleep, I called Margaret, my mother-in-law. Her usual warmth turned to sharp anger as I explained what had happened. She did what? Margaret exclaimed. Rachel, I'm so sorry. I knew Ashley was struggling financially, but I never imagined she'd stoop this low. Struggling? I pressed, sensing there was more. Margaret sighed. She's been day trading, trying to make quick money. I warned her, but she doesn't listen. Last I heard, she'd lost a lot. Everything clicked. The frantic pool repairs, the ridiculous landscaping. Ashley hadn't just been impulsive. She was desperate, clinging to appearances. What are you going to do? Margaret asked softly. Protect Emma, I said firmly. Mark would have wanted that. As I sorted through old documents, I stumbled on a letter Mark had written weeks before his death. In it, he'd expressed concern over Ashley's growing financial instability and his intention to remove her as a co-signer on Emma's fund. He just hadn't gotten the chance. I forwarded the letter to James, adding it to the growing case file. Then I transferred every penny from my savings, meant for a future home, into a new secure account for Emma's education. A house could wait. Her future couldn't. Ashley's text arrived as I was wrapping up. The kids love the pool. You and Emma should come over this weekend to try it out. See? Everyone benefits. I didn't respond. Instead, I filed a formal complaint with the state banking authority. Ashley thought she could get away with this, but she was about to learn a hard truth. Real family protects each other, and betrayal has consequences. As I worked late into the night, gathering evidence, I could almost feel Mark's steady presence beside me. For Emma, I'd fight with everything I had. The next morning, an email from James turned my coffee sour. Ashley hadn't just drained Emma's college fund. She'd also tried to access Mark's life insurance policy 2 months ago. The insurance company had denied her request, but the attempt was well documented. This establishes a clear pattern, James wrote. We can use this to show premeditated financial exploitation. I've drafted a cease and desist letter, but I recommend we move quickly on legal action. The longer we wait, the harder it may be to recover the funds. I was drafting a reply when the doorbell rang. Standing there, dressed in designer sunglasses and a strained smile, was Ashley. Rachel, I thought I'd stop by to discuss the pool in person. Emma should really come see the finished project. Her contribution made all the difference. Her casual tone, as if this were about a bake sale donation instead of stolen money, made my stomach churn. Come in, Ashley, I said, masking my irritation. Emma's at her study group, so we can talk privately. She strolled into the living room, dropping her expensive handbag on the couch as though she owned the place. I brought pictures of the pool, she chirped, pulling out her phone. The waterfall feature turned out amazing. It really elevates the neighborhood. I sat across from her, watching her fidget with her wedding ring, an old habit that betrayed her nerves. Actually, I said evenly, I'd like to talk about the life insurance policy. The color drained from her face. What about it? The insurance company contacted me this morning, I said. They mentioned your inquiry about Mark's policy. Odd timing, don't you think? Especially given what happened with Emma's college fund. Ashley faltered, her polished coiffe slipping. That was just a misunderstanding, she stammered. I was helping Mom organize some family paperwork. You know how she gets confused. Margaret doesn't seem confused to me, I replied. In fact, she seemed quite clear when she told me about your day trading losses. Her expression hardened. She had no right to tell you that. It's none of your business. It became my business when you stole from my daughter to cover your gambling debts. Day trading isn't gambling. Ashley snapped, standing abruptly. And I didn't steal anything. Mark would have wanted to help me. He always helped family. I thought of Mark, how hard he'd worked to build Emma's college fund, determined to give her opportunities he never had. Mark wanted to protect his daughter, I said, pulling out a letter I'd found among his things. In fact, he was planning to remove you as co-signer before the accident. He knew he couldn't trust you with Emma's future. Ashley's hands trembled as she snatched the letter, her face pale as she read it. This doesn't mean anything, she muttered. He didn't actually make the changes. I had every legal right to access that account. Having access doesn't make it right, I said, my calm cracking into controlled anger. You didn't just steal from me or Emma. You betrayed your own brother's trust. Oh, stop being so dramatic, she scoffed, but her voice wavered. It's just money. I'll pay it back eventually. With what? I asked, my tone cutting. Your failed trades, or will you steal from someone else? Her face flushed. You're just jealous because I'm trying to create something better for my family. That pool adds value to our home. It's an investment. An investment you funded with your niece's future, I shot back. Well, I've made an investment too. I hired James Turner to handle this legally. She froze at the mention of Mark's lawyer. James? You involved James. I did. This isn't going away, Ashley. Either you return the money voluntarily, or we'll let the courts decide. It's your choice. Ashley grabbed her bag, her composure crumbling. You're making a huge mistake, she spat. Think about what this will do to the family. I am thinking about family, I said firmly. Specifically, my daughter's future. After she stormed out, my phone buzzed with a flood of texts. Ashley had already started spinning her narrative, portraying herself as the victim of my so-called vendetta. But I was done playing nice. I forwarded James's email to Margaret, along with the documentation of Ashley's attempted fraud. The family group chat exploded within the hour. How could you do this to Emma? Margaret's message cut through the noise. Your own brother trusted you to protect his daughter, not steal from her. Ashley's responses grew increasingly frantic. It wasn't stealing. I was going to pay it back. Rachel's blowing this out of proportion. I muted the chat and called Emma's study group mom to check in. Emma was fine, engrossed in a discussion about cellular biology. Like her father, she found peace in understanding how things worked and how to fix them when they broke. Some things, though, couldn't be fixed. Trust, once shattered, was far harder to repair than any pool. Later, James called with more news. I filed the paperwork, he said. But there's something else. You were right. Most of the money didn't even go to the pool. It went into her day trading accounts. The revelation tightened the knot in my chest. What are our options? We could pursue criminal charges, James said. This is fraud and theft. Or we could handle it civilly, but it'll take longer to recover the money. I thought of Emma and her father's compassionate heart. Let's start civilly. Give her one chance to make this right before we escalate. More generous than she deserves, James remarked. I'll get everything drafted. That evening, Emma looked up from her homework as we ate dinner. Mom, is something wrong with Aunt Ashley? Your phone kept buzzing. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Sometimes adults make big mistakes, I said, but I promise I'm handling it. She nodded, wise beyond her years. Dad always said we have to hold people accountable, even when it's hard, especially family. Looking at her, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Ashley had exploited our grief, trust, and family ties. But she was about to learn that some bonds, once broken, only strengthened the resolve to protect what truly matters. 2 weeks after filing the civil suit, Ashley's web of deceit unraveled in ways none of us had anticipated. The pool company called me directly, puzzled by the $30,000 repair figure cited in the legal documents. Mrs. Parker, the owner explained, we only billed $8,000 for basic repairs and maintenance. Nothing near what's being claimed. We can provide the invoices if you need them. Those invoices became the final nail in the coffin of Ashley's lies. James compiled everything. The bank transfers, the pool company's actual bills, and the records showing that Ashley had funneled nearly all of Emma's college fund into high-risk day trading accounts, which now sat nearly empty. During mediation, when confronted with the overwhelming evidence, Ashley finally broke down. I thought I could double the money, she sobbed, mascara streaking down her face. The form said it was guaranteed returns. I was going to put it all back, with interest. Emma would have had even more for college. Margaret, sitting beside me, shook her head in disgust. Your brother worked himself to the bone for years to save that money, and he gambled it away in weeks. The mediator laid out the terms. Ashley could agree to a repayment plan with strict oversight and liens on her property or face criminal charges for fraud. But I don't have the money, Ashley protested, her voice barely a whisper. The market crashed. It's all gone. Then sell the house, Margaret said coldly. The one you're so proud of with its pool and landscaping. Downsize, get a job. Do whatever it takes, but you will make this right. Under the final agreement, Ashley and her husband had to sell their house, using the equity to repay most of Emma's fund. The remaining balance would be deducted from her wages once she found employment. She was also required to attend gambling addiction counseling. It's more than she deserves, Margaret told me afterward. But Mark would have wanted us to give her a chance to fix her mistakes, even now. The day Ashley moved out of her house, Emma and I drove past. The Fort SALE sign stood in sharp contrast to the pristine pool that had set this nightmare in motion. Mom, Emma asked softly, do you think Aunt Ashley will ever realize what she did? I thought about family, trust, and the lessons Mark had instilled in us. Sometimes people have to lose everything to appreciate what they've had, I said. But right now, let's focus on your future. That afternoon, we drove to the bank, where I opened a new college fund for Emma, this time under my sole control. As I transferred my savings, the deposit I planned for our dream house, Emma looked up at me, alarmed. Mom, you don't have to give up your dream house for me. I hugged her tightly, her hair still smelling faintly of the shampoo she'd used since she was little. Sweetheart, you are my dream. The house can wait. 6 months later, Emma stood on stage at the State Science Fair, accepting first place for her research on genetic markers. As she smiled at the crowd, I noticed a familiar figure in the back of the auditorium, Ashley. She lingered quietly, watching Emma with a mixture of pride and regret before slipping away unnoticed. That evening, a letter arrived from Ashley, Rachel, and Emma. I can never undo the harm I caused, but I want you to know I'm working on becoming someone worthy of being called family again. Counseling is helping me understand why I made the choices I did. Mark would be so proud of Emma and so ashamed of me. I hope one day you can forgive me, but I understand if you can't. Ashley. I showed the letter to Emma, letting her decide how to respond. After a thoughtful pause, she said something that reminded me so much of Mark. It took my breath away. Everyone deserves a second chance, Mom, she said, but maybe not a second chance at handling money. I laughed, holding her close, knowing that whatever the future held, we had emerged stronger. Emma had inherited her father's best qualities, his wisdom, his compassion, and his unshakable sense of right and wrong. The college fund is slowly being rebuilt, and while Ashley still has a long road ahead in earning back our trust, I've learned what truly matters. It's not the money in our accounts, but the values we carry in our hearts, and the determination to protect what truly counts.